good morning. It's Wednesday, and you are happily tuned in to the I'm Making It Happen radio show on the Reef 103.5 FM with exceptionally yours, Nykole Tyson. And we are here on Wednesdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And on I'm Making It Happen, we discuss how we can make it happen in our minds, bodies, finances, business, and culture despite the not so pleasant and inevitable challenges. And that's to ultimately shift our mindsets and allow us to realize that we have the power to improve and maneuver every and any situation. And, I had a guest today, but they were scheduled. So we're supposed to have them next week. And so I am with you today. And that's great because I have some things I want to share with you. And so you have me, and we are going to have a great conversation. So before I get into the details of what I want to discuss with you, I want to say good morning to everyone in the USVI, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts, Nevis, anywhere you are in the Caribbean. Thanks so much for tuning in, as well as those listening live on reefbroadcasting.com from the east to west coast. Good morning to you, and wherever you are in the world, we appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in, as well as good morning to those watching live on Facebook and or Instagram. We are live on both platforms. On Instagram, you can find us on I'm Making It Happen on Facebook, and I'm Making It Happen, the letter R and the letter U on Instagram. All right, and we have a live show. I mean, some people doesn't say, I say this every week, but it doesn't seem like it registers with many. So I do a recording every week of the show. There's a recording. So every time I'm on the show on the radio, we do a live on Facebook, okay? And so there's always a recording. And there's also, now we do it started in December on Instagram. And so speaking on that, we're going to talk about, again, going into, it's a new year. We have a new mindset. If you were with us last week, you would know we spoke on, it doesn't take a new year to have the goals, be excited and motivated and feeling like with all the possibilities, because a new year is just a new day. We went from December 31st, 2024 to January 1st, 2025. It took 24 hours to make that a new year, right? But with that, everybody, has that's newness of the year. But it's just a new day, and we could do that every single day. For us in St. Croix, we had festival. It was a lot going on. I feel like being in New Year and having the goals and things like that, sometimes that could get in the way of having our goals in New Year. But this is a fresh week, and we can be rejuvenated. Even if it's the first week, many of you have needed to get the rest, especially government workers in, the essential agencies like the VIPD, health, and of course festivals and tourism, and the list goes on of all the agencies, waste management, all the agencies that was involved in the festivities on St. Croix. And then the people that was, of course, enjoying and participating in many of the events, hosting events, whatnot. There were many long nights, long days, and preparation. So it doesn't just start in December. Preparation starts long before. So many of us you have been tired. And now it's time to get recharged and into gear. And so if you didn't start off well the first day of the year, you can start off, say this is the first week, and you can get into gear now. So we're going to talk about that new year, new mindset, and goals we can implement individually as well as a community. And so I'm going to share a couple stories or experiences that I've had, and I like to do that at times. And so I feel like maybe it was good that I have a chance to connect with you because, when I have guests, I'm not speaking on things I might want to share. And so I'm going to talk about some things that I feel that we can implement as a community for the year, every day. And I'm going to speak on it more regular, and so that we can be more, involved with things that we essentially want to see, right? So first of all, I want to talk about addressing this what he said, she said, hearsay. It's rampant in a small community, and I'm going to share our experience personally. But what I found is that, we can deal with these situations head on and have a positive response and more responsible way of communicating and guiding conversations, right? That we're involved in, that we hear, or yeah, that we are involved in. And so we're going to talk about addressing misunderstandings and miscommunication because I feel that there's a lot of that happens here, more so because it's a small place and people run with information that's not even true, and then they're running around like it's truth and it's not. So personally, I'm gonna share a story. I'm not gonna go into details, but I was made aware of I think I don't know how to say it. Like, okay, so somebody told me that there was people that was kind of um, concerned about something they thought I said on my show, which wasn't said, and they were in arms about it. And I'm happy that the person did. You know, there was I guess there was a group conversation, and some individuals were upset, right? But I wasn't privy to this, and so they're upset about something that's not even real. And I'm happy that, and I want to give credit to the person that did pull me aside. And when they saw me and said, Nykole, I need to talk to you. This was said, and is it true? And I'm like, first of all, I give credit to the person that spoke to me and credit to myself because I didn't take it personal. I just listen, and I think we all can do that regardless of what. Listen, understand what people are saying first before responding, and then share your truth. And I was like, that's not true. And actually, you don't even have to believe me. You can go to my page and find my Facebook page, and you can see any show. 99.9% of the time, I record a video. There's a live of my show. So you don't have to guess on anything I said on my show. You can go back, find my page. It's I'm Making It Happen on Facebook, and I have 99.9% of the shows. As long as I have a Wi-Fi, I am on that, okay? And so I cleared that up and was able to get in contact with one other individual who was part of that conversation and cleared it up with them. And the person knows me and knew how to get in contact with me. So that was my only disappointment, was that, this person did not reach out to me. However, I'm glad that somebody did. And so this is what we need to do as a community, is not run with information and then, spread it like it's truth. Because now you're living a lie. Because you're living a lie because it's not something that's true. You're not liking somebody, you're not talking to somebody. So this is my story, but you can apply it to anything. Many people have been or have experienced this, I'm sure. Well, I know. And then, some of you may have been a part of spreading wrong information, intentionally or not. And it is our responsibility as community members to seek clarity and get the information correct before repeating it, because you can cause a lot of damage if it's something that's real serious. And I know situations of situations that people have run with information and it actually cost them their life. Okay, a person's life. So you have to be careful. And then this one I want to say in regards to being 2025 is that I would ask that we are more responsible with our communication and what we say. And if somebody does say something, take it with a grain of salt and think about it. Does that sound like that person? Because what was said that I said doesn't even sound like me. And so, you just have to be like, take a step back and think about, well, does that even sound like that person? And don't be so quick to believe things, you wouldn't, and think about what would I feel, how would I want this to be, how would I want to be treated in this situation. So we're going to talk about avoiding the harmful cycle of he said, she said by seeking clarity directly from the source. And so I give kudos to the person that contacted me and got that cleared up. All right. And again, if you have any question about one of my shows or whatever I said on my show, you can go to Facebook. I record every single show. So you don't even have to believe what I said. It is documented. All right. All right. And miscommunication can spread like wildfire. We know that. It can cause unnecessary confusion and tension. And then you don't even like somebody else for somebody that's not something that's not even real because something someone else said. And that makes no sense to me. I mean, to me, this is elementary because I wasn't even like that in elementary. In 6th grade, somebody told me, some girls I used to hang out with told me, we're not talking to somebody. Why? I asked. We're just not talking to her. And I'm like, okay, well, you're not talking to her, but she didn't do me anything, so that's your problem. I've been like that. Nobody had to tell me that. But a lot of things that we have going on is elementary here. And so this is one thing about reducing and having better relationships. So we talking about having better relationships. I mentioned that last week. That is part of it, communication. If you hear something you don't like it, go talk to the person, ask them the question. That's very simple. to just say, hey, is this true? I heard this, and get it cleared up. Because a lot of times it's not real, it's not true, and there's always three sides to a story, as I mentioned: one side, the other person's side, and the truth. So don't just hear one side and go running with it. Find out, um, and let's break the habit of prejudging others based on rumors or incomplete information. That is one thing I would hope that we can do in 2025, because we're a small community, and we are our community, and how we interact has an impact on all of us, be it big or small. There's so many things happening, and it can all be cleared up because of communication, right? And again, I want to say kudos to the person, they know who they are, who approached me. And then, just want to make sure that people are listening, have that in your mindset, is that, look, not everything that somebody says to you is true. And there's always more to it. So don't just run with it. Unless you just want to believe bad things about somebody, then that's just on you. But, most times it's not even true, and there's more to the story, right? And that, in doing and not taking responsibility of how the impact we have with communication, that can have a have a negative effect on someone's character and damage their reputation. And it's not even true, again. So you just have to ask yourself, do I really know this person well enough to make that assumption or to agree with this communication or what's being expressed? And if you're unsure, just ask directly the person, right? And verify before you amplify, because it's like a wildfire, like a fire. It starts off, it's like a brush fire, small, and then it just goes and goes and goes. But by the time you get control of the fire, it already caused destruction. You can't fix it, right then and there, because it's caused so much destruction so fast. So that's what our words have. And then it was funny too with this interaction, is that one person had one story and the other person had a different type of story of what happened or when it happened. And it was like, okay, so whose story are you? So that's like, you play the game Story. I'm not, what is it called? Is it Story? I think it's Story. The game when you tell somebody a statement, as a group of you, is like 10, and you tell one person a statement once, and then they have to repeat it to, like, everybody has to repeat it once to the next person. By the time you get back to the source, it's a totally different story. That's basically what happened, right? And so, again, and either which story wasn't true. All right, and so you have to, best definitely verify before you amplify. Spreading unverified information can cause harm that's undoable. All right, and remember, when you run with unverified gossip, you may inadvertently hurt someone's reputation without meaning to. And you have to think about, how would I want this to be dealt with if it was me in the in the situation. I think a lot of times, a lot of issues that happen, people don't think about how they want to be treated, right? And that's unfortunate, because you wouldn't like certain things, but you're doing it to other people. Make that make sense, right? So we'll make it happen in this year by being responsible for our words, our communication, and, just getting information correct, all right? So that's my story with that. I have another story I definitely want to share with you about our cleanliness of our territory. And I feel like the conversations I have is the micro to the macro. And so I bring it to you because I'm like, these things, if it's happening to me and I'm seeing it, or whatever's being said, it's happening on a wider scale. So I'm going to bring it, and hopefully it has an impact where individuals implement it, and we have better results in the way that we communicate with each other. And then, again, as I said, being responsible of our communication, because we all have an impact. The listener or the speaker, and the person that repeats it. So listener, speaker, repeater, all right? We all have an impact, and as if you're listening to something that doesn't sound right, speak up. Just speak up about it. Don't just be a bypass or a passive listener. Be involved. Speak up. Clear their ear. Is that right? Hey, that doesn't sound right. Don't be repeating stuff like that. I have never had a problem by doing that, and I want to empower you to do the same. Because there's too much he said, she said that goes on here. As I mentioned in the show many times in the past, I never experienced so much until I came back home. was gone for 10 years living in the States and came home and experienced so much how people talk about people. And, be it true or not, a lot of it I don't think is true. And people just run with information. So, as I've experienced personally, and 10 times out of 10 is not true. All right. And so, talking about not being being verified before you amplify. Like, let's stop spreading rumors or fostering rumors, and again being responsible of our communication. So pause before you share. These are some tips that we can implement for the new year. And you know what? It actually reduces your stress, because from what I understand, people are upset about this. That wasn't even true. So you're upset about something that's not even true. And most times that is the case. Just get the information from the source and you can clear up your stress. That will give a better quality for your day on most times, okay? So pause before you share. Before passing on information, ask yourself, is this true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And if it's neither, then just keep it to yourself. It doesn't even have to be shared. Go straight to the source that I mentioned. If you hear something about someone, don't assume it's true. You know what they say about assuming? And that's what happened. Don't assume it's true. Politely ask the person involved for clarification. And then misunderstandings often dissolve when the facts are laid out. So it was dissolved, and the information was just quashed. And I said again, you don't even have to. People say people lie, but facts don't, or numbers don't. Well, videos don't. You can see all my shows online, and now be a filter and not a funnel. All right, so filter information. For me, I see a lot of things. We all see a lot of things online. We all hear a lot of things, but filter it out. Just like how we have filters for water. We take out the bad stuff and we could drink the good stuff. Be a filter for information and not a funnel. All right, choose to stop rumors instead of letting it flow through you. You have the power to redirect conversations toward positivity. And speak up against gossip. When someone starts spreading unverified information, say something like, have you checked if that's true? Again, have you checked if that's true? Let's not jump to conclusions without all the facts. Let's call up the person and see if that's true. No, but that's harder because you really don't want to know the truth sometimes. People don't seem like they want to know the truth. But if you want to really know the truth, and you call up the person and be like, hey, is this true? In front of everybody so it's cleared up, right? Lead by example. Model the behavior you want to see. So stay kind, stay fair, and focus on solutions rather than drama. That would cause us less stress. Again, reduce the drama if we are more responsible and accountable by the conversations that we are involved in, and not spreading it if it's not verified. Offer a listening ear. Sometimes rumors stem from misunderstandings or emotional situations and how people perceive a situation. Again, it's all about perception a lot of times, and instead of reality. So encourage people to talk through their concerns instead of spreading them, and educate on the impact. Because everything I've mentioned this many times, I mentioned it last week. Impact. We all have an impact, positive and negative. All right, and so reminding you that rumors can harm reputations. They can cause friction unnecessarily, because sometimes people just want to believe what they believe, and then they just cause an enemy out of somebody that the person don't even know why you're upset with that. And for me, like we say in 2025, I'm leaving it. If you're upset, you want to be upset by yourself. I'm not taking it on. But if you want to come and ask me a question, I'll definitely, I'll definitely communicate with you. Anybody can tell you that. I have no problems with communicating. And so have that with other people as well, because sometimes you people here in the Virgin Islands are upset with people, and other people heard something, now they're upset with them. And again, like I said, it's not even true. So you're living a lie, and this other person is not even knowing what's happening, because I didn't even know what's going on. All right, a simple slip of the tongue can have lasting consequences. All right, so practice empathy before judging someone. Think about how you'd feel if you were in their shoes. Empathy goes a long way. All right, so that was my conversation that I want to speak on. In 2025, let's be more responsible in our communication. And I felt like there was something what happened was fine, was cleared up, but then it made me think of how does this always happen? It happens a lot in our community. And they have people upset with people that's not even, it's not even real at times, right? From what I observe. And so I just, talking about having less stress. just let it go. A lot of times it's not even truth. And you can reduce your stress by either approaching somebody directly and getting information from the horse's mouth, right? There's that saying, getting it direct instead of from somebody. And then stories get changed so much that it's like, it just gets changed so much by the time it comes around. It's not even, it's like, how did you even come up with that? You know? So that's that. So I'm going to talk about, when we get back from the break, I'm going to talk about, so that's that in regards to 2025, and we're thriving in 2025, reducing the stress, and that's one way we could reduce the stress and limit drama. They said, verify before you amplify. You could keep that in your mind. And then filter, be a filter, not a funnel. If you don't remember anything I said today in that conversation, verify before you amplify, before you continue continue spreading information. And then be a filter, not a funnel. Filter information. Don't go running with it. So when we get back, I want to mention something about, again, I feel like I'm like a broken record speaking on this, about how this island of St. Croix, I haven't been on St. Thomas for the season, so I'm not sure how they're looking. But for my island, St. Croix, we need to do better with this trash. And I know you're going to say, oh, it's because of this person hasn't been paid, and so trash is not, no, we are a community, and we need to take more accountability. So we're going to talk about that before, when we get back from the break. Before we do, definitely want to remind you, of course, as Carlos Furniture is still your number one furniture store in the territory, and they're located in Petersburg, St. Croix, and Tutu Park Mall, St. Thomas. And they continue to get new items. They have huge sales, of course, now open 7 days a week. Definitely you can go to either store and you'll find great items on sale and for your entire home. Be your kitchen, living room, bedroom, dining room, decorative items, you name it, they have it, and at great deals. And they'll meet or beat any price. So check out Carlos Furniture. Also, Quality Auto Parts, located near Sunny Isles, is also open 7 days a week. And, it's all in their name. They have your Quality Auto Parts. If you have any questions, definitely call Quality Auto Parts at 340-778-5462. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome back. Listen to I'm Making It Happen on the Reef, 103.5 FM with exceptionally yours, Nykole Tyson. And so if you were with me before the break, you know I was talking about reducing or preventing the he said, she said, right? Especially in a small community. Because, I was just having a conversation during the break, and sometimes, you interact with people and they have a attitude with you or made adverse reaction to you. You're like, why? What's up? In your mind. But then it's like, we're not children, not to ask, what happened? No, if you want to talk, then say something. Something happened. But you may be listening to things that's not true. And it only affects you, because you are not able to have the opportunity to interact with that person. And so unless it's like life-threatening information, or a situation, definitely it would be best to get the information or just take it with a grain of salt and see how they interact with you, All right, so we're going to talk about now about our island. So I was driving west yesterday on the highway, St. Croix, speaking of, and going west, coming from Sunny Isles, and there's garbage lining the highway. And it's from the time you get to the median, from Sunny Isles, you turn onto the highway, or if you're going straight, and there's garbage lining the highway. Bags, plastic, all kind of stuff. What is going on? And I know people might say, oh, it's because of this person, hasn't gotten paid, which definitely I hope they got paid by now. The garbage, and no. But it has to do with us as a whole. I'm going in certain neighborhoods and I'm seeing garbage, and it's everywhere. Those garbage haulers are not going to pick up every piece of trash. So what is happening? I saw a big bag of garbage just in Christiansted town, just on the ground. There was no garbage can, so that's not a place, a receptacle. It's not a place to throw your garbage. It's just sitting there, and there are people driving by. There are people sitting outside. They're just there. All right? and they're letting this be present. Now I'm coming back up on the highway, and I'm seeing garbage again coming from west, going east, on the other side of the median. And it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. And I'm going to tell you another story. And I'm going to get to why I'm bringing this up, because I hear people say, oh, it's this reason. Oh, it's that reason. No, the reason is us. We need to take more accountability, all right? I have somebody, I have my house, right? And my property. And it's partly fenced, but there's another side to it that's not fenced, but it's my property. And many people don't think it belongs to somebody because it's not fenced, but it's always cut. There's no garbage usually. I try to pick it up all the time. And there's individuals that park their cars there. I have seen people get out their car and start to dump their trash out of the car onto my property. And I've had to, let them know in many words that they need to take the stuff up and go. And they have done that. But recently, so it's an open area, so people park there, they cut the neighbors, my neighbors, grass or whatever, and I don't mind it. But I just request that you help me keep the place clean. So this just happened like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. No, actually a week ago, because we're not even 2 weeks into the year. So like last week, and somebody parked there, they're going to cut the grass, my neighbor's grass. And I see a napkin now, mind you, I picked up all the garbage because one thing every year, New Year, I have to have my grass cut, and I pick up the garbage on each side, blah, blah. So there was no garbage there that night before, but I'm seeing like a napkin here, and I see a napkin there, and I'm seeing these guys going to cut the grass. Now, there's no problem they park there. I just, request that they help me pick it up and I'll keep it clean too. Don't just, because you see it there, you didn't put it there, don't just leave it. So this is the problem that I see that we're having on the island. Because I didn't put it there, I'm not going to move it. That's not pride in the VI. That's not pride in your home. If you have pride, then you're going to pick it up regardless if you put it there or not. So, and this was the reaction that I received from somebody. So I asked them, it was two guys in two different trucks. I asked one guy, hey, I see a napkin, can you pick that up for me, please? And they kind of was like, they didn't really want to do it, but they did it. The second person, I said, hey, I saw you had a wheelbarrow. There was a wheelbarrow right next to some, like a napkin or a bottle. I can't remember what it was, but it was a piece of trash, and it wasn't there the night before. But people passing all the time, it's not fenced, so whatever, somebody might have thrown it out or whatever. So I just asked, I see them with a wheelbarrow. They moved the wheelbarrow, that was next to the piece of napkin or whatever piece of garbage. It wasn't a big thing. And they left that article of garbage on the floor, on the ground, and they moved the wheelbarrow to go clean up the neighbor's yard across the street. So I'm like, you have a wheelbarrow that you could just simply throw that in. You're getting things, you're going to throw them away anyways. You just can't pick that up. So I made it my business to, when they came closer, to ask the person, hey, can you please pick up that napkin there? They said, what, that? I didn't put that there. And I was like, I know you didn't put it there. I didn't ask if you put it there. I just asked if you can pick it up. I said, I maintain that side. I'm letting you park over there. I'm letting you park your car, park your truck or whatever, so you could cut the neighbor's grass or whatever. I just asked, and I maintain this area not for people to be parking there or throwing, I just asked that you help me keep the place clean. That's all. So you're going to see this piece of article of garbage. You have a wheelbarrow there to throw things away, and you're going to leave it there. So this is a micro to the macro, as I was mentioning. So and then when they walk off, they suddenly got an attitude. They were upset that I said this. But they were okay that they could park on my property, and they're not responsible for, helping keep the place clean. And it wasn't a bunch of garbage. So we have a real backward way of thinking, and I ask that we improve. So I'm going to talk about some things about, what the impression of this garbage looks like when people visit us. So they're not thinking about, oh, it's this reason of this person didn't get paid. Oh, it's that reason because we have a bunch of people here. Oh, it's this reason. No, they're thinking the people here are not very clean. All right? You go into certain areas of the island and it is pristine. It's because of the mindset of those people in that area. You go to certain states and millions of people, there's no garbage. I travel a lot. I go to other islands. I don't see the kind of garbage just here on the it goes to pride. So I can't say that is any reason one reason. It has to do with our mentality and the mentality of the person that told me that he didn't put it there. He didn't put that garbage there, even though he had a wheelbarrow right next to the piece of garbage on my property that he could have just picked up and said, "Hey, I'm going to contribute to this person's cleanliness." It looked like it's maintained, but it's just kind of, there's trash in certain areas. That's the mentality that's going on this island. I didn't put it there. All right, I see a comment here. Yes, the government needs to provide garbage cans, but if there is none, take your garbage home and put it in your trash can. Some people, okay, this is a comment I'm reading online. Some people are very nasty. They blame everything on the government. The government is we the people. I do believe that we are the people. The government is, of course, the government is not the governor. The government is not a senator. It is us. And like I mentioned to other people, the government has more employees than any employer. And so we having a bunch of issues. We calling and fussing about stuff. You need to talk to your neighbor that works in a certain department and find out what's going on. Are they really doing their job? But we're not going to get into that today. I'm talking about us as a people. I will definitely get into that another time. But yeah, so there's a mentality of I didn't put it there, so I'm not going to pick it up. So that's the whole reason why I'm saying this story, or this my experience. So I always think it's the micro to the macro when I experience some things, and at times I'm like, I want to share this. I really want to get this out, and whoever's listening to me, near or far, you can implement it, and I hope that it resonates with you in some way. And I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm bringing it to your attention so that we can improve. Because if we don't, measure where we are, we're not going to improve. I want to encourage the mindset of making it happen. Making it happen is all areas. So when I'm out there, and I've even stopped my car and I've picked up some trash right next to the man camp. Right now, I think there's a bag of garbage next to the man camp. I don't know if it's picked up right now, but yesterday I saw a black bag of garbage outside the man camp. Somebody just threw a bag of garbage outside the man camp. All right, I have picked up some plastic and put it in my car because I just couldn't understand why this big plastic was there. And I got out my car, put it in my car, and I went to the dump. We all need to do that, okay? This is our island. We need to keep it clean. There's many guys with trucks. We ask that if you see something, pick it up, throw it in the back of your truck, and dump it. Hey, I would even mention you. We would even give some rewards to people doing stuff like that. Because in the essence, it's our island. All of us, we need to do our part. Yes. Another comment online saying we need to do our part. It takes all of us. All right. When people come here, they don't think about is this person that get paid, or is that we have all these different people from different places coming. No, they're thinking about all of us as collectively, and it has to be collectively because it wouldn't be so rampant if it wasn't. And like I said, the person that I was at my property that told me they didn't put a napkin there, but they had a wheelbarrow that they could throw the item in, and they were just going to leave it because they didn't put it there, but they're okay to park on the property and go across the street and clean somebody else's place, right? And so my response again was, hey, I know you didn't put it there, but help me keep it clean. Or if you're going to park there, I have no problems, but help me keep it clean. And I want us to do that too. Help us keep it clean. This is our island. So let's do that. And I'm going to take some, give you some mentions, and you can see it. You see it all over the island. There's no getting away from it, right? Right, let's see. The impression that garbage leaves when people see it is that we have a lack of pride. So people say, oh, VI pride. No, there's no VI pride. If it was VI pride, we wouldn't have this. So I'm not moved when I hear people saying I have VI pride. You just want to say you're from the VI, then act like you're from the VI and make sure you're keeping your areas clean. Garbage haulers, making sure that you are covering the back of your trucks. People that's taking your garbage to the dump, make sure you're securing your trash. And if you can walk out your house and see garbage and you're leaving it there because somebody else threw it there, then you're also part of the problem, not the solution. All right, we don't need to wait for an entity to help us keep the community clean. I've seen people take initiative in many aspects, and now a lot of people do. And I want to commend those that do it, and I want to encourage those that haven't done it and have a different mindset. All right, because when you go to other islands, you cannot. They don't have that mindset. They're gonna, if they see you throw something out, they're gonna come after you. I've seen it in St. Kitts. All right, so lack of pride in the community, that's a negative impression. They also have health and safety concerns. Garbage buildup can signal neglect, leading to concerns about hygiene, pests, and potential health risks. It makes us look like, people want to make jokes of the third world, but no, third world is a mentality, I feel. Third world is like when you've seen all this garbage all over the place, that's a mentality. And I want to say is that we don't have a reason or excuse because we are African, Caribbean, African dominant. All right, so there's no reason. There should not be reason that we are looking like this. We cannot keep blaming other people. Other places, they have a majority of other nationalities. We have the majority. So this reflects us. So I just request that for the new year, that's something as a community that we, really encourage, or we really take accountability and responsibility for our surroundings. All right. Overflowing trash, so just poor management. I wouldn't say the poor management, but it's definitely, I think it's a community. Littering on the beaches, we see it in the parks. It's just showing that we don't respect our home. And so I request that we do better with that. And so that is that part about, improving in regards to the cleanliness of our home, keeping our community clean, showing our VI pride, St. Croix pride, keeping our, just doing our part. If you're going to the garbage, like anytime I'm going to the garbage and there's trash in my area, I'm picking up on my neighbor's side and my side. I'm not just leaving it there. And even if I'm not like the best with a neighbor, I'm going to still pick up because that reflects me. I'm not going to leave it there because that reflects my area. When anybody drives into my area, once it gets to my area, I make sure that when I'm coming home, and I'm happy to see there's no garbage. And so if you're on your way to the garbage dump and you have garbage around your home and you didn't put it there, just pick it up. Even in the areas of like other areas, like if you're at the beach and you have a bag of garbage. I mean, this is like elementary stuff we're talking about. Take your garbage because it's not children who's doing. These are adults doing this. It inspires us to maintain our environment, and it instills a belonging. I think we've gotten away from that because we're so entitled about other people having to do things where this person's supposed to do it, that person's supposed to do it. But there's a story, I'm going to find it, that they kept thinking somebody was going to do it and it never got done. And so let's just, take accountability and responsibility in that area too. And then it shows when people come and visit us, because we're not supposed to keep it clean for other people. We're keeping it clean for us. And so when people come, they say, oh, the first impression is that these people are clean, and they respect their environment and they have pride and ownership. We are owners of this island. And so we need to show it. I'm not waiting for agencies or entities to do it. We have control. Like I said, the person that was right there with a wheelbarrow with a napkin on the floor on the ground said he didn't throw it there. But it's okay to leave it there and go across the street. That's the mentality. So let's get out of that, okay? And it just encourages us with a positive mentality of ownership, of pride, of just, progression. It has a whole positive impact on all of us. Okay, so we need to prioritize cleaning up, and another conversation will be about sustainable practices and those kind of things and recycling. However, that's not the conversation. It's just like the garbage is just rampant everywhere, and I'm wondering what is going on. We need to do better. Let's do better. It's 2025. Let's be better with that, okay? All right, and as I told you, I had a lot to share with you today. And if just, a handful of people implement this, it will go a long way, Let's see. On the beaches, so we have some other comments here. We need to implement and reinforce a fine. Hold on. We need to implement and reinforce a fine for littering. Yes, I do agree. But, we need to then, if there's a fine, who's going to see it and who's going to report it? So we need to report it to somewhere, take a video of somebody throwing it out and send it somewhere so that the person, they can find them. I have seen people while they're driving throwing things out their car. like they're cleaning the car. The car is better than our outside home. So we need to be able to report or send a video of when we see things like that so that they can get the fine. Also says on the beaches, people need to stop leaving their garbage, go with your trash and put it. This is comments on Facebook that I'm relaying. Go with your trash and put it in the trash bin. Yes. Good morning. And then it says they do it here. Comments are coming. Hold on. They do it here all the time. Yep. We also need to teach our children if they drop something, pick it up and put it in the trash. Yeah, so the children are looking at what we do, right? And so you have adults doing that. So what if adults are doing it, the children are going to do it. So maybe we need to teach in the schools so when the children see it, they reprimand the parent, you know? So, and then it says wherever they stop to eat, they drop and leave. We as people of VI need more pride. Yes. All right, so these are comments on Facebook. And you see, we talk about how clean the states are, but it's because people don't litter like that. We need to stop littering too much. Yeah, you're coming from Washington State. I've been in Washington State, Colorado, and it's beyond me. It's millions of people, and the whole place is so clean. You come here with only less than 30,000 people, about 30,000 people. Lisa, 30,000, 40,000 people. And look how the place look. Why is that? All right, so we're gonna take a break, and we get back. I'm gonna wrap up. Time has gone so quickly. Thank you for joining me. And let's see if I have to say anything before the break. All right, so we take a break and we get back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're listening to I'm Making It Happen with Nykole Tyson. If you're with me before the break, you'll know that initially I started off with talking about what did I talk about? Oh, the hearsay. He said, she said. Stopping that. I expressed my story that I experienced last week, and its situation was not true. So I realized that's rampant going on here. So let's reduce that. Get the information from the stores. And there's 3 sides to every story. And yeah. And when you stop talking to people for these reasons, or it's you that you're really cutting off. And unless you had a conversation with somebody and you get it and they really said whatever, did whatever. But unless you verify the information, I feel like you're really I think I had this conversation with somebody recently or last month or so, is that individuals are really preventing themselves from getting to know people, and having that experience of that person. You never know what positive things might come about from your interactions with others instead of like following what people said. Getting the source, get into the source yourself. Right. Next thing we talked about was littering, how much trash is on the island, and it reflects all of us. So it looks bad on me. If I bring friends here and they come and see the island, they want to know, are we on the right side or the port side? I had friends ask me that, you know what I'm saying? Because of all the garbage. I have friends that I brought down from the States. I didn't bring down, but they, visited here. First time being here. So it's very frustrating to see. And then my experience of the person that, was parked on my property, went to cut the grass at my neighbor's, but had a wheelbarrow and had a napkin by the wheelbarrow that's on my property, but did not pick it up. And when I addressed them and asked them, can you pick that up, please? I saw it. They were like, oh, I didn't put that there. That's a mentality that I'm realizing that's prevalent on the island. So let's not be like that. And it's a new year, so let's do better. We can do better. We're amazing people when we want to be. So let's implement that, right? Taking responsibility of our surroundings. I always say that in communication and just everything, we have an impact. All right. It looks terrible from the east to west. Okay. Somebody says here, roadside is clean today. Tomorrow you pass more litter. So yeah, guys do cut the grass on St. Croix, and then like on the highway, I see them, bagging the trash, and then the next time they come back, it's a bunch of trash. Or it's the people, because you have individuals that's trying to keep the place clean, but they should not be having to pick up trash every single time. And so we request that we improve in that area. It's 2025, and in other islands, they don't have the ability or the safety to say, "Oh, a department is supposed to do that." They really, but even if they did, and they do, they take pride individually. You don't see that. I travel a lot. I don't see it, and I go to other islands. I don't see the kind of garbage that's on this island. We're a U.S. territory, so so yeah. I just have to say that and stop like this. Oh, it's other somebody else. It's us. We are the people, and it reflects us. So next time I have a conversation with you, I want to talk about let's see, our emotions and the responses. And again, I want to give kudos to individuals that get the information from the horse's mouth and they stop rumors that aren't true from spreading. Then I want to encourage those and acknowledge those who have been keeping their areas clean and doing their best. Again, 2025, continue to do that. And then with our, for those of you may not, it is our responsibility. Please engage and do that. All right. Lastly, just really briefly talking about you want to complain about agencies of government, like the head. Okay, you talk about the executive, then you talk about the legislative. If you add up those people, right? Let me think. So you have 15 senators, lieutenants, and the governor. So that's 17. So maybe about you talk and you involve the commissioner. So you talk like maybe 40 people. But we have a territory of hundreds or thousands of people in the that work in government. So when you have a complaint and you're seeing certain things, the complaint should be somebody, your neighbor. Because if you have a neighbor, somebody, they have to, one of them, 9 out of 10 times somebody works for the government in your neighborhood. Look to your left, look to your right. Okay? We can't always be blaming the leaders or those that are, yes, they have, definitely, they have the leadership, they're supposed to have accountability in certain areas. But the individuals that are in these positions, I'm telling you, are not always doing their jobs. And they will meet a certain administration and they will be there after a certain administration. And I have personally, people have told me when I worked in for the central government that I met them there and I gonna leave them there. All right, and they're very aware. And that was when we were trying to implement some changes, some positive changes, and they didn't want to do it. So you have people in positions that are there for decades and they're banking on just retiring, and they're not really putting forth the effort to maintain or improve the infrastructure of the territory, but they're just getting paid. So I'm just saying what's the truth. I've experienced that with some people have told me you could get mad at me. You could watch my video because I said it, but it's the truth. And coming back home is very frustrating. I'm not used to that. In private sector, you have to do your job or you're out. All right. And so let us be more accountable and responsible in our duties and our roles as citizens of St. Croix and the USVI as a whole. It's going to take us far. And I hope that you do take me up on it. So that's I'm Making It Happen with Exceptionally Yours, Nykole Tyson. 2025, second show for the year. And, that's making it happen. We're not waiting for people to do stuff. And I'm going to be more on point with that. Making it happen means you taking responsibility, you taking accountability. All right? And so I look forward to seeing you next week. Until then, keep making it happen. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Caribbean Closeout. Make sure you go check them out. They're located behind of Lorraine Laundromat. Caribbean Closeout. You go, the sign is, you see the sign to your right behind the laundromat. You go through those gates, make the left and go straight to the end of the building, and you'll see that. All right. They have a lot of cool stuff at really awesome prices. And so we'll be back again on next week, Wednesday, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And as I always say, if you don't see something happening, create it. Be the change. Until next time. And be the change in all aspects, the garbage, communication. I don't say these things just to say it. If you don't see something happening, create it. It's not just about business. It's about everything. So until next time, keep thinking outside the box, coloring outside the lines, and remember, it's about you, me, we. So make it happen.